Today we're going to focus on the lower body. Last week we looked at upper body, we did some eye exercises, but today we're going to look at the lower body and the similarity between the upper body, shoulder area and the hip area is that those joints are both very, have a lot of mobility because they're ball and socket joints. We can flex, we can extend, we can do circles. Some more than others because we've had injuries or other limitations. But the difference with the hip joint is because we spend so much time walking on our feet that those muscles can get very, very tight and limit our flexibility and our mobility. So we're going to, are you going to sing to me now? Okay, no singing, no singing. I hope you're enjoying the song. This is called Singing the Song of My People. Anyway, please be quiet, sweet pea. Nothing I can do about it. She stops when she stops. All right, we'll begin. Maybe you'll stop. So do make sure that you have a yoga tie at the ready because you may in fact be needing it. I'm just going to drape it over the back of my chair. Finding a comfortable way to sit with the feet flat on the floor. I'm just going to roll my shoulders a few times. This way and that way. And let's just get a little fancy with those circles. Maybe one going one way, one going the other way, and then switch it up. Bringing that to stillness, allowing your eyes to close or gazing softly at the floor. And remember the mudra hand positions. You can have your hands resting on your lap with the thumb touching the index finger, or you can cradle your belly in chalice position. Letting your eyes be closed or looking softly towards the floor. We begin to direct our focus inward. Noticing everything there is to notice about the body, about the breath, about our emotions. Whatever it is that is part of us that we bring to our practice this morning. Welcome it all. Maybe noticing where in your body you feel the breath most strongly and letting your attention rest there. Allowing the breath to become a little deeper now as you move into the three-part breath. Allowing the belly to expand as you breathe in. And inviting the breath up all the way through your torso, all the way up to your shoulders. And exhaling from the top down. And letting it be enough just to sit and breathe. Nothing else to do in this moment. And noticing that when a thought arises, just let yourself simply come back to the next breath. Your mind will wander. It's what the mind does. Become aware of the thought and go back to your breath. Let's take 3 more conscious, intentional breaths. When you've completed that third exhale, just let your natural breath return. Pausing for just a moment to notice how you feel. And we'll bring our centering to close by bringing hands to heart center, to prayer position, Anjali Mudra. And let's combine our voices in an Om. Om. Om Shanti. Peace. May we all know peace. Good. So we'll go right to the lower body. And as I said, making sure you have your yoga tie handy in the event that you should need it. We're going to begin with some leg lifts and a series on the right side. So I'm going to lift my right foot as I breathe in and exhale, bring it down. As you're lifting your foot, try not to rock back in your chair, keeping your upper body nice and firm and engaged. Breathing in and lifting. Breathing out and lowering. If the leg gets tired, you can hold on behind the thigh or you can use your yoga tie. Whatever works. So this time when the foot lifts, I'm going to leave the leg lifted, point my toe, press out through the heel, just rocking back and forth, toe and heel. Feel what's going on in that big muscle in the front of your leg. And let's circle the ankle. Circle one way, circle the other way. So we're going to do a cross leg stretch now. I'm going to grab my toe, straighten the leg, and draw it across. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to use the yoga tie to take the leg across, or just simply to lift it part way. So stretching that leg out, sitting up tall, breathing into sensation. Let's do a little massage. So make a fist with your right hand and begin to pound away on those big muscles. Think about all the work they have to do all day, just carrying us around from place to place. We're going to get some blood flowing there. And I always like to use my knuckles to kind of rub into the muscle a little more deeply. Great. So I'm going to bend my knee now and draw it in towards my chest. Again, you can be using your yoga tie here if that feels good. I'm just going to interlace my fingers below the knee, sit up tall, press into the floor with the sole of your left foot. Relax your shoulders and breathe. Notice where your attention goes. And try to send your breath wherever you feel the strongest sensation in your body during your practice, wherever that happens to be. Welcome, Suki. You're a little late for class. Glad you're here. See if you can draw that knee up a little bit higher. Connect with the breath. So let's take a hold of the foot with the right hand and the knee with the other hand and just rock. Just gently rock that hip from side to side. Notice what's happening in the hip. Relaxing your shoulders. And from here, we'll come into the figure 4 stretch. So remembering what your options are to cross at the ankle, to cross at the knee. And I'm just going to put my right ankle on top of my left thigh, gently pressing down on the knee, pulling up on the foot, sitting up tall. So I'd like a little deeper stretch. I'm going to lean into it. Never forcing or efforting, no discomfort, but strong sensation. Nice steady breath. And we'll inhale here and lift up, uncross wherever you've crossed, and pause for a breath or two. Let's go to the other side. So the left foot lifts and lowers. Breathing in, lifting the foot, exhale, lowering. You can always hold on to your chair if you need a little bit more stability, a little more security. It's perfectly fine. And I know this side is always my weaker side, so I'm very aware of that when I do my practice. Show it a little extra love. So I'm going to lift the foot now and keep it suspended. Again, you can hold on or use your yoga tie for some support. And let's begin to rock the foot forward and back. Notice if your back is starting to round, you want to continue to sit up straight and circling the foot. So you're just moving the foot. You want the leg to stay pretty quiet. Let's go in the other direction. Good. All right, you ready for that cross-legged stretch? Remember, you can certainly use your yoga tie around your foot. I'm going to grab a hold of my toe and stretch the leg across. Shoulders relaxed. So let's make a fist with the left hand here. Begin to do a little self-massage. Make sure you get to the front, to the side, to the back. So waking up the muscles, getting the blood circulating. And rubbing away with your knuckles if that feels good. I always like the way that feels. Great, so let's bend that knee now and draw it in close to the torso. Sitting up tall, making sure that right foot is firmly on the floor. Breathing. Notice where your thoughts go when you're holding a pose. Do you check out? Do you start running to your to-do list, your phone calls, what you need to do? Stay with the breath. Stay with sensation. Let the rest of it go. It'll be there when you're done. Trust me. Good. So let's rock the hip now. I'm going to take a hold of the foot and the knee with my palm and just gently rock that hip from side to side. This feels really good. So always remember that repetitive movements like this are really good for the joints because they get the synovial fluid moving in those spaces, that natural shock absorber. And let's move into the figure 4 stretch on this side. Sitting up tall, just sitting up tall begins to give you more sensation in that upper outer left hip. Let's press down on the knee, up on the foot. And again, I'm going to lean into it. This is just an option. All depends on what your body would like to do today. Maybe very different than what it wanted to do yesterday. Let's take a couple more breaths here, please. Nice deep ones. Good, and inhale, let's come up. Uncross and take a breath. Time for some sun salutations. Could use a little warm weather right now. I guess we've got some snow in the forecast too. Always delightful. So let's press the palms together to engage the muscles of the upper body. And remember, every movement of the sun salute is connected with an in-breath or an out-breath. So if you forget which way to move, just keep your breath going. Inhale, let's sweep those arms up. Exhale, reach it back, a little bit of a back bend. Take the breath in to mountain, and then exhale as you fold forward. Palms place on the knees. As you breathe in, come up halfway. Exhaling and folding. Inhaling, the arms sweep up again. Exhaling, reaching back. Take the breath in and then draw it back to your heart. Let's do a couple more of those. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in, breathing out on the fold forward. Palms to the knees, come up halfway. Exhaling and folding. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, reach it back and lengthen as you reach back. Great. Inhaling back to mountain and back to your heart. Last time, breath in. Reach it back. Breathe into mountain and fold forward on the exhale. Let all the breath go. Come up halfway on an in-breath. Let the breath go and fold. Inhaling, arms float up. Reaching up to the sky. Exhale, reach back, back bend. Breath into mountain. Exhaling, drawing back to the heart. And pause. Good. So let's work on some seated versions of warrior and seated triangle. Even if you're used to doing warrior standing, it's always good to have the seated versions in your repertoire in case you have a day where you're feeling a little extra stiff or a little extra sore and you want to just dial down your practice a bit. I'm going to turn and face the left front corner of my chair, hands at hips. Take a minute to feel grounded. Feel your feet, lengthen your back. Breath in, on an exhale, the right foot steps back. Let's press back through that heel and then let it go. Press it back. Notice how the spine lengthens. Relax. Press back and hold that press. Press into the sole of your left foot. Add your arms if that feels right to you. Gaze can be up, at the horizon, or at the floor. Your choice. So we're going to hold the pose long enough to allow some sensation to build. If this is too much, you can always drop your arms, come out of the pose. One more breath. Good. Let's lower the hands. I'm going to show you another version of seated warrior. So I'm going to turn and face the front and move my body a little bit to the left side of my chair. Now be careful here. You don't want to fall off your perch. I'm going to hold on to the chair, which you can do if you feel a little bit unstable. I'm going to breathe in, and on an exhale, I'm going to step my left foot back behind me, allowing that hip to drop down. Hips are facing forward. You can do arm movements with one arm, or if you feel safe enough to release your chair, add both arms. You want to keep that nice strong press in that left heel back. Breathe. Let yourself use just the muscles you need to use. Follow sensation. Great. Breathe in. Lower the arms. So we frequently do a quadricep stretch for the front of the leg, and we do it standing, but there's a way to do it seated as well. So staying with your body in the position that it's in, you can hold on to the chair, and you're just going to bend that back knee and pull the heel towards your buttocks. Make sure you're breathing. It's a nice way to stretch out the front of the leg. That's a big muscle, gets a lot of work. Great, release that, and we'll come into seated triangle. So I'm gonna separate my feet wide apart, and I'm gonna turn my left foot so that the toes are facing out. Lift your right arm up and begin to arch to the left. Put some pressure, if it feels good, on the inside of that left leg, and roll the top shoulder back. Adjust your gaze to a point where the neck feels comfortable. One more breath, and then let's bring that arm up. Walk the feet together. Take a couple of breaths, and we'll go to the other side. So beginning with the version of seated warrior that we usually practice, I'm going to be facing the left front corner of my chair. Take a breath in and step back with that left foot. Again, notice how the hip tends to roll down like this. That gives you a nice opening in the front of the body. Press back through the heel and relax. Notice how every time you press that heel down, your spine engages and lengthens. And relax. And once more, press and hold. Add your arms if that feels good to you. Keep breathing. Keep noticing sensation. Keep bringing your attention back to the body and the breath. Breathe in, lower the arms. Turn and face the front. So we'll do that other version of seated warrior and along with the quad stretch. So my hips now are going to move slightly to the left of center on my chair. And I'm going to begin by holding on. I want to make sure that I'm steady. Take a breath in, send that right foot back and press the heel back. So the knee is bent, the heel is pressing down. You're pressing into the sole of your left foot. Doing the arm movements with one arm or both arms if you feel steady. Only if you feel steady. If you're wiggling and wobbling and feeling anxious, hold on. One more breath here, please. A nice deep one. Good. Lower your hands. And let's prepare for that quad stretch on this side. So your left leg can stay right where it is. You're going to bend your right knee, draw it back. Make sure you're sitting up tall in the seat. Probably want to hold on to the seat of the chair for this, just to make sure you're steady. Really important to stretch out that quadricep muscle if you have lower back discomfort, because there is a connection between both muscles. Tight quads tend to create discomfort in the low back. Good, so let's lower that foot and get ready for triangle on this side. I'm gonna move my hips to the center, separate my feet nice and wide, turn the right toes out, left arm reaches up. Take a minute to lengthen all the way from your hips all the way up to your fingers and begin to arch to the side. Gentle pressure against the inside of the leg. Roll that top shoulder back. You want to open the body to breath. Find a focal point for your gaze that's comfortable for your neck. Make sure you're breathing. Maybe you can reach a little further. Always want to make sure both sit bones are on the chair though. Great. Let the next in-breath bring you up and out of the pose. Walk your feet together and take a breath. And we'll come up to standing through chair pose. I'm going to move my feet back, heels are lifted. And remember that as soon as you begin to stand, allow the heels to drop down. Don't try to stay up on your toes. A little bit too challenging. Good. Breathe in, exhale. Engage your core, stand up part way. The knees are partially bent. Shoulders are back. Add your arms for a little bit more of an intense pose. Find your breath right away. A lot of sensation in the quad muscles. Good. Lower your arms, straighten your legs. Maybe wiggle them a little bit to shake them out. Let's do some hip circles. So just circle your feet a little wider. Allow your knees to be nice and soft. Nice big circles forward to the side and back to the other side. And let's go in the other direction. And let's get a little fancy here and make a figure eight. Do you ever put music on and just dance around your house? It's a good way to get a little exercise and get rid of some tension. And go the other way. Good, and then bring that to stillness. So before we do some standing work, I want to just review the basics of good standing alignment. So placing a hand at your lower belly and place the other hand at your sacrum. So make sure your feet are under your hips and let's just rock the pelvis forward and back. So this is pretty similar to the movement we do when we do the cat and the dog. It's the same tilt of the pelvis. Good. And then bring the pelvis into a neutral position. Let your knees be a little bit bent. The minute you lock your knees, look at what happens to my lower back. So there's a lot of strain going on here that doesn't need to happen. So keep your knees soft. Release your hands. So if somebody were looking at you from the side, as much as possible, your ear is going to line up with your shoulder is going to line up with your hip, and your hip is going to line up with your knee. Just feel what it feels like to be in good standing alignment, breathing. Good. And I always like to remind you that just by practicing reviewing good standing alignment during the day, you are going to really improve your posture, standing, seated, whatever you're doing. Okay. So I'm going to come to the side of my chair and I'm just going to warm up a little bit for balance. I'm going to come up on my toes and exhale, drop my heels down. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, drop them down. Lift up on your toes, drop them down. And one more time, lift up on the toes. See if you can hold it just for a breath or two. Great. And drop it down. Rock your feet from side to side. Knees have got to be soft to do this. So it's a good way to remind yourself. And circle again. And circle on the feet in the other direction. And let's prepare for tree pose. So my weight goes to the leg closest to the chair, my right leg. My left foot begins to lift, and I choose a position that works. The foot can be here, can be on the floor. If you're somewhat flexible, you can bring it up in your groin. I'm going to keep my foot on the floor today. You can do the arm movements with one arm or both. Totally up to you. Make sure not to lock that supporting leg. Bent knee moves out to the side. Find that breath. Find your gaze. And let's lower the arms. Release the foot. Maybe do a few circles. We're going to do that other version of tree pose, the one with the foot on the chair. So that'll be the next move. Okay. So the weight now is going to come to my left leg, and I'm going to place my right foot up on the chair. Take a moment. This is where we really have the opportunity to open that hip. So drawing the knee back. Good. Add your arms, one or both. Don't lock that supporting leg. Keep it nice, nice, nice and soft. Wonderful. Lower down. Release your leg and take a breath. So if you would like to try the quadricep stretch standing, now is your chance to do so. You can stand by the side of your chair, or you can stand at the back of your chair. I'm going to stand alongside, take a hold of my foot, and draw the heel towards my buttocks. And breathe. Good, and let that go. Take a breath and come to the other side. Okay. So shifting my weight now to the leg closest to the chair, which is my left leg. I'm going to begin to move into tree pose. I'm going to raise my right foot, draw it out to the side, choose a position that feels safe, comfortable. One or both hands. Find that nice, steady breath. It's the most critical thing you can do, is breathe. And let's release the hands down, release the foot, and do our other version of tree pose. So the weight's going to come to my right leg and the left foot's going to lift up on the chair. Again, drawing this knee back as far as it wants to go. Adding your arm or arms for your branches. Now, notice if you lock that supporting leg. I like to bounce a little bit to keep it soft. Breathing. and release. Good. Again, I'm just going to circle my hips a little bit here. And come into the quadriceps stretch on this side if you choose to do it. You can also take a seat again and do the seated version if that works better for you. So I always want to keep the thighs together and drawn back. Make sure you're breathing. Nice steady breath. Great, and release that, good. So we'll do standing warrior, and we'll do the version where we step forward into the pose rather than stepping back. So I'm gonna come slightly behind my chair, and I'm going to be stepping forward on the leg closest to the chair, which is my left leg. Always look towards the floor to envision where you think your foot will land. It doesn't have to be a big step. It can be a pretty small step. Take a breath in, step that left foot forward, and sink down. Take a minute to square your hips so they're facing forward. Good. Add your arms. If you feel safe, add both arms, releasing the chair. Breathe. And if you really want to challenge yourself, you can turn your gaze upward. It's a little bit more tricky to balance when you're looking upward, but you be the judge. Good. Lower the hands. Step your feet together. Take a breath. And we'll do that version of the warrior on the other side. So I'm going to be stepping forward with the other foot, strengthening the supporting leg. Envision where your foot is going to land. Take a breath in, send the foot forward, and ground. So you want to make sure that the hips are facing forward, not angled back. Check out how much weight is on your front foot and your back foot. See if you can get the same amount of energy going down into the earth. Add the arms, if that feels good. Find your breath. Nice, steady breath. Good, lower down. Step your feet together. Take a breath. And let's finish up with the downward facing dog. So you can come either to the back of your chair. If you want to hold on to the back, I'm going to come to the side and walk my feet away. Knees are soft, chest hangs down, head is relaxed. Let's pedal the feet. So flexing and straightening one foot at a time. Head is relaxed. Good, and walk back towards your chair. I always like to thank my chair. It's such a good partner. And take a seat. So let's finish up with a forward fold and a twist. And we'll do the forward fold in stages, beginning with the feet directly under the knees, holding on, if you like, to the chair or just resting your palms on your thigh. Breathing in. So think about extending right from your hip crease. Relax. Let's inhale and lift. So I'm going to intensify the stretch a little bit by moving my feet, about a foot further forward. Take a breath in and ease yourself forward. So you'll notice that the further your feet come forward, the more you'll feel the stretch deep in your hamstrings. Inhale, let's release. So if you want an even deeper stretch, I'm going to extend my feet a little further. The knees are always a little bit soft. I'm going to hold on to my chair here so I don't fall off. Take a breath in and exhale forward. Head is relaxed. Pressing your soles of the feet into the floor. You can breathe in and lift your toes. Exhale, flatten the feet down. Inhale, lift the toes. Exhale, press them down and hold them pressed against the floor. Shoulders relax. And inhaling, up we come. Bring your feet back under your knees. And we'll do a twist from side to side. So we'll start with the right arm. Palm comes to the left knee, left hand to your chair. Lengthening on the in-breath, twisting on the exhale. Adding a cross of the legs if that feels good. As you breathe in, release the twist on this side. And we'll do the other side. Left arm stretches, palm comes to the knee, hand to the chair. Lengthening as you breathe in, rotating as you breathe out. I'm going to add the knee cross. As you're holding the pose, always noticing where your thoughts go. Keep your attention on the body and the breath. And as you inhale, let's come back. Take a pause. And let's come into our final seated relaxation. And I always do it seated, but if you're home and you want to just stretch out on the floor for a minute, and that feels safe and comfortable for you, by all means, be my guest. And I'm just going to close my eyes. Doing the little body scan, coming up through the feet to the legs, the calves, the thighs, and the hips. Since we focused on that in this practice, maybe spending a little extra time noticing what changes are to be noticed in those parts. And then noticing any sensations in the torso and arms, shoulders, and face. Letting your breath deepen now. And adding those final stretches. Feeling more ready to take on whatever the day has in store. I'm And bring my hands to prayer position and chant the sound of Om. Om. Om Shanti, peace. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from fear. And may all beings everywhere know peace. I thank you for joining me for this practice. Jai Bhagwan. Namaste.